Hi everyone, how are you? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you. So let's begin with our topic for today, which is one of the beauty arts called dance. And just in case, I let you know, I'm not gonna dance. This is not one of the arts in which I can develop myself, and it's not one of my best ones, of course. Whoever had read the blog, you might know why. So let's talk about this topic, which is related, which is one of the, of course, that we will see it from the point of view related to the expansion of the universe. So the origin of dancing. The word dance comes from the Germanic languages that means to move. Movement from one side to another. So basically, it's all about movement. And by this movement, I mean any movement in the universe. The movement in the universe, remember, emerges from the vibration. The vibration starts to push a rhythm in the universe that creates a harmony, and this harmony give place to shapes. So those shapes are moving through a constant of rhythm in time and space. So basically, for the universe, the concept of dancing would be the constant of movement and rhythm through time and space. So this is a look from the universal point of view of what is dance. So everything in the universe is movement born by this frequency that starts to push the waves of vibration into different frequencies, and these different frequencies starts to shape different different structures in the universe that keep moving, that keep changing once again and taking different forms, different shapes by themselves, but all of them, even though still moving around. So this movement, for example, is the one that we see in the atoms, with the particles of the atoms that we see in the galaxies when they spin, the planets spinning in itself in an axis, moving around the stars like ours in the sun. So the precession of equinoxes, everything is like a constant movement in the entire universe. Everything is moving, so kind of like the entire universe is dancing. And of course that if the universe is movement, this means that life is a dance. So let's see into how humans took this idea of movement and transform it into the dances that we have today. So basically everything begins through this constant movement that nature itself has. So we can see that all the movements on Earth are because the sun is moving the Earth. The Earth spins in its axis and moves the atmosphere, moves the oceans, and the oceans have their currents, and the the air has its currents, positive and negative, warm and cold. That creates the wind. The wind starts to move the trees, and the trees seems to dance. The birds also dance in the sky. The insects, the animals on the earth, everything starts to move, and this is like kind of a pushing process that the main atoms that created everything, they started to expand the energy. They started to move the other atoms, creating a reaction that is a constant movement. So let's go into that image. So remember that everything comes from one thing that divides in two. So is this one divides in two and multiplies in the others. So one that has divided itself, now we have two. These two will be linked one another. One will be with positive energy, the other one with negative energy. So these two will try to find the balance and attract to each other. But with that energy trying to connect to each other again, they will divide themselves into other two. So we will have now two. So what happened with this constant division that start to have all these branches is that the only and first reality that expands outside because of the amount of energy starts to push forward the energy into different directions, because it wants to get together again, but they created energy, so much energy that they started to expand everything into the cosmos. So what they are trying to do is to connect themselves by expanding themselves. So the thing that happens here is that every time that one of these nodes divides itself to create an energy, it will pushing the others by movement, and these other ones will try to find a way to find stability, so to find a new order, okay, to restore the order, okay, in these connections. So in a straight line, we can see it in this way. So take this image here. The image would be that we have these three dots connected by a line, and these three are balanced, okay, they are in balance, but suddenly one of them decides to split. It divides because it has too much energy, so it divides itself, generating a wave of energy that starts to rise like a tsunami until reaching this one. And when it reaches this one, it pushes this one forward, creating a huge amount of energy that goes higher and higher when it reaches this one, and so on. It keeps like a tsunami. The movement is constant, okay? And that's what gives us the concept of entropy. The feeling of entropy, the concept of entropy, is the idea that a constant movement is constantly taking us towards chaos. But what happened here? That there are many other lines, not only one, because this is a network. It's a constant network. So actually, when you see that there is a network, not only one line, but a network with many things, we can understand that when this one here starts to vibrate in a vibration that goes in at this harmony, the other ones around, the other ones in the network, will try to keep the balance of this one, taking this one back to the original one, trying to put order on it. And that's what we call syntropy. Okay? Syntropy would be the concept that everything goes to an order. Actually, both of them happens constantly, all the time. So in the same time as through entropy, the universe moves towards a chaos because of the vibration changing all the time, this vibration, this movement creates many other connections, a constant network that tries to bring stability through syntropy to the universe. So what this means, that everything in the universe, every movement in the universe is trying to find a shape, a pattern, in order to find order, with the goal basically of saving energy. So as an example of this entropy that creates entropy, we are here, life, a human being, for example. We are the entropic result of the chaos of the chemical components. If you want to find the perfect balance of a chemical component, you have to go to the very origin of the universe, where only that exists was just chemicals. And that's it. So these chemics that you find in the stars, in the rocks, in the planets, those are the basements that are really the truth, the order. But when they start to expand and get chaotic, they create links that manifest life. So we are basically the entropy of the chemical components. We are chaos for the universe. And even though our bodies work perfectly in order, in such an order that not even today we can understand exactly how a cell from the brain can communicate with the cell of the feet, and they work perfectly, how they share this information, how they can be in perfect homeostasis, and all the systems of the body works like a perfect machine that we have no idea exactly how life is possible. Okay, so that gives you the idea that this entropy is creating syntropy somehow. So every chaos is looking for order. Naturally, when you start to get networks, it finds order. So if we see it in that way, it doesn't have any logics. But when we look at this other way now, it will have. a perfect network. So it's much more difficult to see the network like this. We look at it as chaotic. So when we take a look into that in this way, you see also the same thing. So what we have here is that one idea projects into another idea, that projects into another idea, that wrap the whole system, and the whole system projects a new idea that we call now this, a tetrahedron. So here we have the tetrahedron. This is the base of the tetrahedron. Then we have the other tetrahedron with the base here behind, with one of the faces here. And it generates other nets, other links, creating the cube. So now we have a cube, an hexahedron. So what we will have here is that this cube will divide the faces like the roof of a house. Divides the faces. And what does this creates? A dodecahedron. So here we have the dodecahedron. And of course, each one of the nodes of the centers will have another structure. The one that we will know as icosahedron. Okay. So from here, we repeat exactly the same system because we have tetrahedrons. We start to create tetrahedrons again towards the outside. And this structure keeps going eternally. So all this network that we have here is basically this network that we have in here. So this basically here is the structure of every molecule of every particle, bacteria, virus that is created in the universe. Basically is this, and then it starts to complete and diverse in cells and life and so on until we appear. Okay. So this is kind of the same way in which the mind of the universe manifests like it does in our neurons. So we have a neuron, another neuron, another neuron connecting. So in our neurons, basically, it's kind of this is a node, and then the connection to another node, the connections to another node, neurons. So they repeat the same system to share information, which in the geometry is exactly the same. One node or neuron connection in an edge, another neuron or node with a connection in an edge. Okay, so it's exactly the same. So the same way in which our brain interprets information and shares information through the neurons, the nerve system, the mind of the universe, they also go through the edges and nodes of the geometry. So all the information is moving around here. So in this structure, from the outside, we receive data, codes that will get inside this structure in the same way as in a physical way is through the senses. The senses sends data to the nerves, and the neurons administrate that data. Okay, is exactly the same. So now this information that comes to us in our brain will be interpreted by the neurons, but the neurons, in order to administrate that information, will need to administrate to storage that information according to the previous information that we got. So this is why the brain will try to look in the previous data in order to see if it's possible to understand what it's receiving. The same thing happened in the geometry. If we receive a shape that doesn't fit our geometry, will be or rejected or forcing this geometry to shape itself in order to be able to accept the new data. Okay. So now remember that every one of the edges is just vibration, is a constant rhythm. So if I receive a data that is very high in a rhythm, so it could harm me, okay? It's not synchronized. So that's why it's not resonant. Here we bring again the concept of resonance. If it doesn't resound with me, so I won't be able to accept it. Even if it is good, it will hurt me, okay? Hurt my structure. So what happens if the information that comes is exactly in the same level of vibration that I have? So it will perfectly fit within me. So it starts to move through all the structure around, which we call to be or to have rhythm, or to be on the wave. Okay? So what this is doing, that the structure vibrates, moves according to the vibration that it receives. This is what makes that when we receive a specific music, certain music, our body needs to move. It's not that wants to move. No, we need to move. And this is what takes to the body to receive the rhythm, to find the harmony, and from that, the body discovers the dance. So, who are the first ones that will feel that resonance? The ones that feels that resonance, the first ones will be the positive and the negative. Positive and negative. So they are trying to get together. So what this does, that all the positive and the negative throughout millions of years of evolution, they will try to find the other in order to create a structure to multiply and create energy. So when we evolve into reproductive beings, which means that we produce ourselves, when we begin to be reproductive, we will start to call this female and male. Okay. What this does in nature is that this one will need this other one to reproduce. And if you watch nature, we will see how nature uses color, sounds, and dance as a way to attract the other one. So what does the dance? That one of them creates a wave of energy through the movement that will reach the other one. And if there is resonance, it will attract and put in the same vibration, both together. So many birds, many insects, many mammals use this movement in order to attract the other one. So humans not only started to use it for reproduction, but also when they started to work as a team in order to hunt, for example, whenever they hunted a big animal, a huge animal, they started to feel so much euphoria that they jumped and they created movements that were cause of celebration, like when the monkeys move like woo, like this. So these movements in between a group of people created an emotional links in between each one of them that made the group to be much more closer. And that created the concept of celebrating through these singings and dancings. So these jumps, these spinnings that they did to celebrate, basically are the summary of the unity in a group. So that's why it started to evolve also in ceremonies, and they used the dances in ceremonies. Eventually, when they discovered what they felt as they were celebrating these moments of celebration, what they discovered is that they had much more power when they started to imitate the animals or the nature. So they created this idea that by moving like the animals, by moving like the trees and the wind, like moving like insects and birds in nature, you would encode it inside of you the power of that being, the attributes of that nature. So they started to create these movements to imitate these animals that created the dances, the biodances, which is the dance of all together imitating life, nature. So they were able to embrace and to receive the power of nature, the beauty of nature within themselves by imitating the animals and the plants. So this starts to give tools to humanity, not only to imitate and be beauty and have beauty, but also as tools to be centered. So in some cultures, it created dances, in some others, martial arts. So dances start to be as a tool, as a technology for humans to download the beauty and information of the entire universe. So eventually, there comes a moment when dance starts to receive also technique, metric, structure. So it starts to become much complex. because before it was about imitating nature, but now it has specific goals. Specific goals would be to acknowledge that according to how you move your hand, in which direction, going up, down, how fast, how slow, all these movements will help you to know which kind of energy are you moving, what for are you moving it. So it creates a perfect structure of the dancings. So if you take a look into the movements of the dance, what you will see is that you create an edge going to a node. So you are creating lines and dots and geometry around. So you start to weave everything. You start to weave your geometry, your Taurus around, spinning in your own axis like the earth, moving your hands, moving your legs, creating the entire network, doing the tetrahedron, the dodecahedron, everything around through the movement of your body, moving energy, moving information within yourself. So we have different kind of dances, but actually what goes through all of them is that it is the manifestation of the mind figuring out how to become aware of what has created. So basically, dance is not only to dance something. It's a way in which we can connect with information of our soul, with the spirit. It's a way in which we can manifest and live the constant movement of the information that goes through time and space in our soul. So I don't know if you have ever thought to understand dancing through entropy and syntropy in the universe, but they are quite connected. So one said this, basically dancing is trying to put order into the constant movement of chaos, of expansion. So actually dancing is a conscious or unconscious way of bringing syntropy to entropy. Let's go to information for the alignment today. The vibration is Rho. The statement is, I am guardian of the world. The code for today is angelical. Out of any biological bond, biologic bond, in the planes of essence or the rays of light, the angelical kingdom extends. Angel comes from the Greek word angelos, that means messenger. However, it includes all types of entities that conform what would be the synaptic web of universal mind. Angels, archangels, principates, potestats, virtudes, dominations, thrones, cherubims, seraphims, and their darkness complementaries. Let's go to the alignment. Sit comfortable, close your eyes, and concentrate on your breathings. I become aware of the space around me, my own breathings, and the body that I inhabit. I use my imagination to picture how every object, everything inside this room starts to disappear, to vanish. As it do so, the roof, the walls, and the floor, everything vanishes until I can just see the void and oneself in the middle. I take a look into the void and watch straight into only one spot. I put all the focus on this spot, my intention, my attention. Only that spot exists. As I take a deep sigh into this spot, I bring all my energy, my intention to this focus until I see how it becomes a spark that starts to ignite into many others. I see how these sparks ignite into fire, a fire that grows bigger, enlightening all the space around, feeling its heat on my skin. I recognize that this fire is the essence of my soul, and through it I can build its home, the home of my dreams. I take this fire with my hands, and through it I start to build this home. I use my hands like in a soft and slow dance, bringing this fire to build the walls, the rooms, the furniture, and the gardens. I recognize that this home is me. The rooms are my chakras and organs. The kitchen is my heart. The walls are my bones. And the gardens, my projects. I take a look to figure out which spot of all this house is the one that feels static, that is not moving, standing still, and I go towards it. And when I find myself inside of this room, I set all intention to start to dance, to move the energy in order to activate life. I dance to move life within my home. I recognize that this is my world, and I am the guardian of this world that spins, that dances in circles towards the eternity. I am guardian of the world. I am guardian of the world. I am guardian of the world. In me, I have the world in me. I have. Take a deep breath, and each one at its own time, come back here and now. And each one at its own time, take this energy, put it into the water, and pour it in the seeds that we have sowed. Thank you, everybody, for being here another day. And as always, see you tomorrow at the same time.